Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all my Cardfight Vanguard Galactic Hero deck profile for October 2022. With the release of Set 6, Blazing Dragon Reborn, we were given two new decks to create from the booster pack alone, being the Galactic Hero deck and the Crossover Dress, since they gave us support in the form of the trial decks for Dark State Stoicheia and then also Keter Sanctuary. These two decks for the other two nations were solely available in the booster set. The Galactic Hero deck focuses on using the normal order base, which lets you set up all of your different units to then call out onto the field, basically like them staying at the base until superheroes are needed. It's a pretty interesting take for the use of the order zone, kind of like the opposite of Prison, which takes your opponent's units. This one actually just uses your own and sets them up for you to then call them out onto the field. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the ride deck. Now this ride deck is pretty funny, just with the different units you run. Our starter is Galactic Hero, purely Agno. Being the standard grade 0 when rode upon, if you went second, draw a card. Our next one is Galactic Hero Architect, Passil. So it's almost like they're making the base, then the last ones are the superheroes that are in it. When this unit is placed on Vanguard Circle, search your deck for up to one base card, reveal it, put it into your hand, shuffle your deck, and during the battle, this unit boosts a unit with hero in its card name. This unit gets plus 5,000 power. So just an additional rearguard option. Won't really happen as much, but still, you have the search for your main go-to order unit in the deck, which is the hero base, Aegis. Our grade 2 is Galactic Hero Wired Closton. On Vanguard Circle, you scout a card with hero and its card name from your hand to your base. You draw a card, and scouted cards are put faced up into your order zone. So this is just how you place the hero cards to set up for them in your order zone, with our grade 3 being Galactic Hero Unite Dinos. The main go-to grade 3 in the deck, also the one we'll use for the Persona rides and the setup for the offensive capabilities that this deck is meant to do. Now, before we get to any of the other units in the deck, I'm going to start off with the orders that we run, and that just being 4 copies of Hero Base Aegis. When this unit is put into your order zone, you look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to 3 cards with hero and its card name. From among them, reveal it, put up to 1 card from among them into your hand, and scout up to 2 cards from among them into your base and shuffle your deck. So you'll place those units into the base to set up later on. And from the order zone, you can rest this card, discard a card from your hand, choose one of your scouted cards with grade less than or equal to your Vanguard, and call it to rearguard. So setting up more and more cards, it's almost like they can be protected and kept safe from, other plays being used in the base for that. And when this unit is attacked, you can soul blast. When your unit is attacked, you can soul blast 1, rest this card, choose one of your scouted cards, and call it to guard circle. So almost like a protection, also being able to call out those units, but also being able to protect them with the additional one. So that's why you want to run multiples of this card, so you can set up more and more each turn for the activation and set up more and more units in it also. Moving on now to the grade 3s in the deck. Ideally, you do want to run 3 copies of Galactic Hero Unite Dinos. I have 2 additional copies here, just missing the 1. So I'm running a Capable Helper, which is just a recycle grade 1 that you can get from the set. But I would ideally want to run 3 copies of this card. So you have the Persona Ride on Vanguard Circle. All your front row rear guards with hero and its card name get plus 5,000 power. And on Vanguard, when this unit attacks, if your order zone has a base, counter plus 1. Until the end of that battle, this unit gets plus 15,000 power. And if your order zone has 3 or more bases, it gets critical plus 1. So another reason why it's very important to set up more of these hero bases, so you can have more pressure for your Unite Dinos, but also just being able to make use of those cards for the additional power that this unit is meant to get. And now moving on to the grade 2s. Along with the grade 2 from the ride deck, I'm running 3 additional copies of Galactic Hero Wired Closton. You have the rearguard option when it's moved to another rearguard during your battle phase to get plus 5,000 till end of turn. So that's basically when it is moved to another rearguard. So this is for the hero base setup, being a once per turn when the unit is moved, giving it plus 5,000 for an additional attack, because then you can have the multiple attack setup with your Galactic base being set up on the field for you to use. Just being able to choose those scouted cards and then call them out to the rear guard to use. Now for the additional hero cards, I also run 4 copies of Galactic Hero Flatten Sufri. When this unit is placed on rear, counter plus 1, choose one of your opponent's front row rear guards in the same column as this unit and retire it. So it's just a retire power, making use of how the base can call out units. And on rear guard during your turn, if your order zone has a base, it gets plus 5,000. A continuous effect that plus 5 is meant to go for the multiple attacks that these cards are meant to do. So just an additional use with this card being able to retire a potential interceptor and then hit for your opponent's Vanguard. I also run 4 copies of Galactic Hero Rampart Aspida. With this card, when this card is scouted, you can soul charge 1. If your order zone has a base and you have a Vanguard with Hero and its card name, it gets plus 10,000 shield. So this is more of your defensive card, but still being able to build up the soul with this card is pretty useful also, just because we're running 4 means you have better chances to hit this card for the potential scout into your base to use. And for the other grade 2s, I run 4 copies of Aiding Monster Tech. When this card is discarded from your hand during your turn, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 set order from among them, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. So you just want to be able to get consistent bases to your hand. You have the search off of the grade 1 from the ride deck, but being able to use Techian for the discard for your ride deck and then just have additional search means that you can either set them up and get more searches added to your hand after using it as a discard cost, minusing for the ride deck to use, but still making up for it by potentially adding a normal order to your hand. And moving on now to the grade 1s, I run 4 copies of Galactic Hero. Foriel is direct Foriel. On this unit, from the back row center, rear guard. At the end of the bow, your grade 3 Vanguard with Hero and its card name attack. You soul blast 1. Rest this unit, choose 2 of your rear guards in the same column as each other, and swap their positions. So this is a very important card in the deck. It can get your multiple attacks off in the same turn. Just being able to swap their positions also will set up some of your other cards, like your Wired Closton, getting its plus 5,000 power. Setting up all of those units from the base, also depending on what units you may have. If you have multiple grade 2s, because we are running a higher number of them in the deck, you can set them up in the back row and know that after you Persona Ride, you can just swap their positions and have some pretty big power thanks to their plus 5 they'll get to begin with. So definitely a 4 of in the deck just for that easy setup. It's what it's meant to do in the back row center, almost like the commander of the deck, giving out the orders to all the other superheroes that will be attacking during the turn. And then for the Sentinels, I'm running 3 copies of Planet Wall Dragon, the newest Sentinel from the booster pack, Blazing Dragon Reborn, but still having the same skill when you guard with it. If you have 1 or less cards in your hand, you don't have to discard for the Sentinel guard. And also the Blitz Order, which is Elementaria Sanctitude, as just the additional protection going up against triple drive decks. So then if you aren't going up against the triple drive deck, it's just a normal Sentinel that you can use and discard it, and then just save the Planet Wall Dragons for the additional guards where you can save cards in your hand. And then for the triggers, I am running 7 criticals, so 4 of the Patrol Robo Decker Cop. I feel this one very fitting for the hero deck, but still great for the soul buildup and plus 2,000 power. And 3 of the new Star Aggression Dragon, just as, once again, one of the newer criticals from the Blazing Dragon Reborn set. For the next trigger, I'm running 4 draw triggers, just for better chances of drawing into some of the needed cards for the deck. And with it, this is the additional plus 5 shield, one that we run also. And I also run for the heal triggers 2 copies of the new Alter Rate Sphere Dragon and 1 of each of the ability heal triggers. So 1 of the Whistling Arrow and 1 Lady Healer for the additional shield power against additional criticals and the multiple attacks per turn. With our over trigger being Elder Breath, this card's too good not to run with the double power and pressure along with your main go-to grade 3 Vanguard. You can hit for some pretty big damage with this already having the additional critical on the Vanguard circle when you have your additional hero bases set up. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoy the video. I'll be doing more and more deck updates from the Blazing Dragon Reborn set. Just wanted to start off with some of the newer supported decks, being Dinos Heroes and then the crossover dress. So look forward to the other ones as well. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Qualia out.